Welcome to Travel Insights Bali number 4. Bali's New Year Day of Silence inspires true silence. So a couple of days ago, Bali celebrated their New Year, and they have a New Year every 7 months. And on that day of New Year, they have a day of silence. So it was an opportunity for everybody to go inside and do not talk. And Bali does it in such a way that all the cars are off the streets, everybody stays inside, there's no flights that come in, there's no businesses, everything stops for one full 24 hours. And it was an amazing experience, and it inspired me into the practice of pure silence. So there are many levels of silence that a person can practice. And so the first one is getting like an external agreement on the outside, like a whole island in Indonesia, making a decision that this is our day of silence, and everyone agrees. That's amazing. I think that's absolutely amazing. We should have that more often. So there's an external silence where we turn off the noises, turn off the TV. We don't watch the media. We're all by ourselves. We don't talk to each other. That's the first level. And then the second level is the silence in your home. To what degree can you, make agreements with your family members? What in the house can you close down so that there's less noise? So there's that level of silence, an agreement among the family. And then there is another level, and that level is personal. Like, to what degree can you create silence for yourself? Like, for instance, you've decided not to speak. So that would be called maun in Hindi. But there's also deciding not to listen to certain things. Like, you're not listening to the media, the news, the radio, music, podcasts. You're just not involved in any of the external media and stimuli. And that's a personal decision. So you can choose to close down your 5 senses and allow no more stimuli to come in. But then there's that last place where how can you create silence on the level of the mind, on the level of thoughts? Is it possible? This is what yogis have been trying to do for years. So meditation is that practice, but what is it that actually is happening inside? So after all the external doors are closed, even your intention to close down your sense doors, your eyes, your ears, your thoughts, then there is this thing that goes on in the mind. The mind itself is extremely noisy and very busy, because whatever stimuli came in, it created these impressions, and then it regurgitates these impressions and rearranges them. So we have the mind, and we also have this internal dialogue that goes on. How are we going to close that down? So when the internal dialogue, like everybody knows what that is. It's sort of like there's one thought that comes in, and then there's another thought that contradicts it or adds to it, and then there's another one. So there's all these voices, internal voices that go on all the time. How are we going to shut that down? If we want pure silence, what is the way to do that? Well, pure silence is when the dialogue, the two voices, the three voices, all merge into one being. So they're not interacting, they're not talking to each other. They're just experiencing their essence. And so this is what we do in our meditation practice. For the pure silence, we're dissolving the duality. And for as long as you can, you stay in that. There's these levels where you're letting go of this thought and that thought. Now remember that the duality world will always be, and you can never really create complete silence on the outside, on the external level. But you can create an environment where it's more apt to happen. You can control some external stimuli or environmental factors so that you can create this for yourself. But whether you get it on the outside or not, your job is to watch that internal dialogue and dissolve it. Let it integrate into its own source. So the depth of meditation is this silencing of the dialoguing, the duality. Inside of that oneness, it'll always be creating the duality, these voices. But you can get to the source of those voices instead of being entertained by the content of those voices. And you do that by focusing on the source, the presence that you are, the one object that you focus in on. That dissolves the communicating, dialoguing mind, and it just goes into this one blissful experience of oneness. And that, I say, is true silence, when you are there merged with your source. I'll see you in next Travel Insights. Bye.